Recording in progress.
Welcome to EIP Editing Office Hour Meeting 59. This is issue number 1481 on Ethereum/PM repo. This meeting is for EIP plus ERC related pull requests. On agenda, we have added a bunch of last call proposals, some review, and a lot of draft proposals. So without further ado, let me invite Sam Wilson to share his screen, and we can start from the last call proposals. Sam, thank you for joining us here today.
No problem. Is my screen share working or no?
It is.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's jump right into this. 10:10. Okay. fungible token mints new tokens on transfer, charges per token data fee, and enforces the cap supply. All right. So we will take a look at their discussion thread. All right, nothing new on there. Okay, the CRC proposes a standard for a new type of fungible token called diffusive tokens. Transferring diff tokens to decrease the sender's balance and mints the tokens directly to the recipient, increasing the total supply in every transfer action. A fixed native currency fee is charged per token transferred, and this fee is paid by the sender to the contract owner. The supply growth is limited by maximum supply set by the owner. Cool. Maintain a constant, simply redistribute balance on transfers. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I have no complaints with this. It is a token standard.
Very well.
All right, 1005. Oh, sure, let's do some of these ones that we have authors here for. So let's look at 993. Standard for setting multiple type data messages to a Merkle tree. Okay, cool. And then we have a okay. Hey, look, spam.
Yeah, I just don't know what that is. Saw it on the PR.
Yeah, people love just spamming for some reason. I don't even know why. I don't know what they get out of it. Okay.
Airdrops.
Yeah, I guess so. Um,
Thanks for the review, by the way. Means a lot.
oh, no worries. Yeah.
Check it out.
If you have any specific questions or whatever, just ask while I'm looking at this. Okay. Good. All right. This CRC provides a standard for setting multiple type data messages with a single signature by encoding them into a Merkle tree. This allows components to independently verify messages without requiring full knowledge of the others. Okay, good. Gives the flexibility to verify messages in isolation or in aggregate. This opens up a very... Yeah, that's good. That's really good abstract. As the ecosystem moves towards ethless transactions, users are often required to sign multiple off-chain messages in quick succession. Typically, the first signature is needed for precise spend allowance, followed by subsequent messages. Okay, so 2612. Okay, you're final. That's good. Pre-approving. Okay, yeah. The composite signature uses the Merkle tree to hash multiple type data messages together in a single root. The user sends only the Merkle root. The process is described below. For a set of messages and code each using EIP+712's encode and compute its hash. Okay, and then you depend on 712. Good. Use these message hashes as leaf nodes in a Merkle tree and compute a Merkle root. Sign the Merkle root. Okay, to verify that an individual message MX is included on the composite signature, verify the signature of the miracle root. Yep. Compute the leave node for message MX and verify its path to the miracle root using the proof. Verify miracle proof. Okay. Okay. See what below verifies. Okay, so okay. Specification of the ETH sign type data v5. The CRC adds a new method to the.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know what to call it.
Yeah. Multiple type data message for the signal signature using the specification described above. The signing account must be prior unlocked. The message returns signature mark root in array approved, these corresponding to an input message. Okay, returns. Okay. Okay. Um, okay, good. Okay. Flexible verification. Okay, so. Okay. Good. Do you talk about what type of hash function you're supposed to use, or is that just not specified for this?
Oh, it's at the bottom.
Uh, Wait, where at the
What's the implementation?
yeah, I guess you say catch 256. Okay, or catch track. Okay.
I'm having trouble with that, but I don't remember what the error was. I'll try again and then I'll let you know. Thanks. With the
Oh, no
link,
worries.
mark down the linter was upset about it.
Yeah, you have to use a relative link. So it'll be something like that. Okay. Good. Well, it's miscommunicated advance by all the messages.
So Victor recommended showing at most 10. I felt it was pretty reasonable, so I kind of stuck with it. So it's more of like a recommendation, not really a hard thing.
Yeah, it's just like a UI kind of thing. That makes sense. System must be catch 256 to ensure must pad leaves with 0 hash 36 power of 2. Let n be the number of messages. Okay.
So if they didn't do that, I don't know if it would change the viability of it. It would just kind of it's just kind of a nice to have. But I do
Okay, so if if one wallet didn't pad, but the contract expected it to be padded, it would still be compatible.
the contracts don't expect it to be padded currently.
Okay.
Like, they'll handle any length. It's just like the consistency is kind of I
Okay,
thought was
yeah.
nice to have.
Yeah, as long as like okay, so if you like ignore the security consideration section and only follow the specification section, as long as two implementations can still talk to each other, that's fine to keep it in the security consideration section. But if they would become incompatible, then it should be in the specification section. Tree reference implementation. Yeah, so sorry that backwards. Okay, good. You have your copyright. Perfect. Git ignores fine. Good.
I can make that happen.
Yeah, thank you. Hard hat config. Okay. Oh, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Sorry, just need a second. sorry about that. Okay. Sign type data.ts. Okay, Merkle, that's good. Some tests, great. Yeah. Yeah, overall, great proposal. It sounds useful. Yeah. So just in case you aren't aware, moving through the statuses is on the authors. So whenever you feel it's ready to move to review, last call, and final, you can open those pull requests.
Got it. Got it. So this would be, so it would merge as draft first, and then I'd make a pull request for subsequent to move it through.
Exactly.
Got it. Thanks a lot, Sam.
Yeah.
I'll make these changes
Oh.
and then I'll get back to you probably a week from today.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Yeah. Good.
All right, so 886. Let's go and take a look at that. All right. Cool.
On that last point, Sam. First of all, thank you for reviewing it. There's 2 points I've left open.
Yep.
So there's one about it doesn't talk about code snippet there. So we're talking about real life will. So there is no code snippet. I didn't know.
Oh, I assumed it was a code because it was capitalized.
Yeah, it's one of those. Do you capitalize it or do you don't capitalize it? Maybe
that's fine.
Yeah. And then the last one, I wasn't sure whether, because is it good practice to add in ERC 165 and add in the actual function for the identifiers? Because what I did, I went to one of the calculators and added it in. There is a snippet of code I saw in EIP 1363 and sort of thought maybe I should do it that way. But it's not in the interface. It's more of a comment that's in the code. I can.
Yeah. All you really need to do for that one is just say like contracts must implement support interface from ERC 165.
And in the actual interface itself, do I add, because there's a comment section in IRC, the sort of 1363, and I copied it. It does it that way. Do I just add that, or do I just add some wording?
However you want to do it, as long as, like, my complaint is that people won't see 165 in the requires header. So it's best to just mention it somewhere in the specification section. However you want to do that is fine.
Oh, all right, fine. Thank you. That was really it. Those were my only questions, so I can check them in. I've removed the make file, like you suggested. We were trying to be nice and sort of make it easy for somebody to actually run it, and so the make file has been removed, and the hard hat
Appreciate it.
files as well. But I've noticed that in the test case section, I still refer to them. So do I remove that section because it feels like that section now won't run? Like you can't run the make command anymore. There is no make file. So do you want me to just?
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, I can probably do that for you here. So let's go through this quickly. Bequeathable contracts, method for contracts supporting inheritance of tokens after the owner's death. So I think we can go. Okay. The CIP standard interface for contract tokens inherit after the set up a will and designate executives to enable the transfer of tokens to inheritors after a specified waiting period. Current edition standard this way. The CIP is still this from a standard interface for bequeathable tokens. Perfect. Yeah, good. I mean, okay, bequeathable token. 778. Okay. one's just canceled. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. Link that. And then all of these are probably good. Yeah, that looks great. And then we can go here. Here. There we go. So like I said earlier, whenever you're ready to move it into review, you can open a pull request and move it into review.
Oh, okay, I'll do that today, tomorrow. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, no worries. Whenever you're like, so kind of, I guess the things you need to have done before moving into review are more like you don't expect there to be any further changes, and you're going to go out and solicit feedback from anybody who'd be interested in using this. That's kind of the idea behind what failed here. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Behind the review status.
So is this the Ethereum Magicians style thing?
Kind of. So like it's a very author-driven process for better or worse. So once you're satisfied that you're mostly done, you move it into review, and then it's up to you to find people to review it. Those people can be 0 people if you want, but we definitely recommend getting at least the people you expect to implement the standard to look it over. And then once you're satisfied that all of that's done, you can move it into last call.
Okay, feels like we're marking our own homework because sort of part of ScanSan, we are sort of implementing it, and we've already sort of done that, so to speak, in terms of that code is more or less live, or a slight variation. We've pulled it into our contract.
Yeah, so then you're probably good to go. Like, do you expect other companies or other maybe wallets directly to implement this kind of a standard, or
Ideally, yes, because we kind of we grappled with this problem, is that we want to sort of do real estate, and we want people to hold these contracts for a long time, and the question of death, which is a sad sort of conversation to have, but it came up, and then we came up with a solution. We thought, actually, if we make it open to the world, we hope it will get adopted. We're certainly using it. But if it becomes a standard, it's kind of like a favor that we give back, and if it gets adopted, fantastic. If it doesn't, we don't lose anything. So it's kind of, we don't need to bang the drum, but ideally it is worth probably advertising it a bit more and making other people sort of be aware of it and try and use it.
That makes sense. So this is kind of like you've already built this product, and this is your like documentation for it almost.
Yeah, this was the solution that we found, and it works for us, and we went, let's just give it back to the community and be nice.
Yeah, perfect. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
Am I okay to drop off for this meeting?
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Oh no, it's 4337.
We have one of the co-authors here, so any questions we would try to solve it, because many proposals are being stuck if this proposal doesn't move forward.
Yep. Yeah, and the construction process. Okay. How many characters is this? It still feels a bit long. Oh no, that's fine.
Counted before.
Yeah, it might just be being a little bit too nitpicky here. Anyways. Okay, draft review and account abstraction proposal which completely avoids the need for consensus layer protocol changes. Instead of adding new protocol features and changing the bottom layer of transaction type, this proposal instead introduces a higher layer of pseudo transaction object called the user operation. Users send user operation objects into a separate mempool, special class of actor called bundlers. Package a set of these objects into a transaction, making a handle ops call to a special contract, and then that transaction gets included in the block. Great. Okay. And the links are in for historical work motivation and 2938 for consensus layer protocol implementing the same goal. 2938 is in stagnant. So, yeah. Okay. Okay.
What do you mean by meeting result?
Yeah, so you can't link to a proposal that's less advanced than your own proposal. So like you're moving into review, so that means you can only link to review, last call, and final proposals. 2938 is in stagnant, so you either need to delete this link or ask the authors of 2938, of which I am one, to move it to withdrawn. So I will do that later today. And it shouldn't be a problem for you, but yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I can do that right now. Can we withdraw? Okay. Okay, achieve the key goal of account abstraction. Allow users to use smart contract accounts to contain arbitrary verification logic instead of EOAs as primary account. And completely remove any need at all for users to also have EOAs as required by statistical client. Yep. So any bundler, think block builders to participate in the process of building and include. Yep. Work with all actually. Okay. Avoid trusted solutions that do not require any Ethereum consensus changes. Okay, support the 7702. PTX fees with the ERC20 tokens. Sponsor trends. Okay. Good. So user operation is a structure that describes a transaction to be sent on behalf of users. It's not named transaction. Yeah, that makes sense. Like a transaction, it contains two called a signature. Okay.
We show the full list in user operation. Actually, the contract receives a packed version, which is also mentioned later.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I guess that's fine to keep. Note of the signature field usage is not defined by the protocol, but yep. Sender entry point must be. Bundlers must whitelist the supported entry point. So that is definitely a. 48. Bundler node block builder that can handle user operations, create a value can add to the block below is still valid. This can be achieved by a number of ways. Blah, blah, blah. But there's another block must, yeah, same. 54. Okay. 7732. Yeah, so 55. Okay, paymaster.
What is the general suggestion? We want to reference them not as a requirement, but as a prior art or things. So we should remove the references, specify them without a link.
Yeah, so there are kind of two options here. One of them is removing it, which I recommend against. It's good to have additional context.
Yeah.
Yeah, so are there any to-dos left in this, or can it be moved to review?
Even 38, we want to have this reference. It's a prior art.
Yeah, no, it's
not.
You should.
It's stagnant.
Yeah, I'm asking Matt and Ansgar if we can just withdraw 2938. That way you can use it. That would be easier. So let's take a look at.
Withdrawn are allowed to be referenced?
Withdrawn, you can reference them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my recommendation for 7732 would be to just open a pull request, moving it to review, and hopefully the authors agree with you. It looks like it's done. I don't know why it's still a draft. Or not done, but it looks like it's completely written. 7796. Yeah, same thing here. Thanks. Okay, I have a contract that agrees to pay for the transaction instead of the sender itself. I have a contract that provides, okay, also known as an authorizer contract, a contract that enables multiple user operations to share a single validation fully defined in ERC 7766. I'm going to guess that that's also a draft. Yep. So I'm going to stop mentioning these. Okay, 7796. I have a contract that agrees to pay for the transaction of the contract itself. Sorry. Decentralized permissionless P2P network, the user operations. Deposit amount of ether, any point contract to pay. Okay.
I have a small question here, just trying to understand it better. So I noticed that all these new EIPs are mentioned under the section of definition. Do we really need to mention the EIP? I mean, we can simply just define that.
That is an option.
Reference with prior art. We don't want to remove the references because it is relevant. Yes, the easy way is to clean them out, but do want to mention them.
Yeah, because I feel like not only the EIPs, those are mentioned here, can be a blocker, but also the EIPs, those could be required section on these EIPs can be another blocker. In that way, we would never be able to go past the draft status unless all the EIPs, whether mentioned in the proposal or part of requires of these mentioned proposals are in draft or any other status.
Actually, some of these are general reference, but 7562 is our document and it is in draft, and we wanted to make the core 4367 final, but we do want to mention that you do need those rules in order to be used. So I'm not sure about the wording. How can we do it? We're not allowed to reference the fact that you need validation rules.
Well, you can say you need validation rules without specifying what the validation rules are, or you can just move them both to final at the same time. The problem being, like, if 4337 went to final, but the validation rules weren't, then you can't implement 4337 because it's talking about something that isn't finished being written yet.
It will take a very long time until we will be able to finalize it, because
Okay.
even if we can ossify the version of 7562 we have today, but it is updated with the new opcodes added to the protocol, for example. So
Okay. So yeah.
it is since it defines rules, we a bit more reluctant to ossify it, and because 4367 define an interface to account and to the endpoint. So
Yeah, that can be ossified pretty easily.
complete.
Yeah.
The validation rules can be ossified with the current version. Once there is a change in the in the EVM, it will be opened again, or we change the number, and then we can't change 4367 to the new validation rules.
Yeah, so we have this problem with quite a few types of EIPs. Another one being like the hardware requirement EIPs that people like to publish. Kind of the solution we're going with right now is to link from the hard fork meta into the version that belongs with that hard fork. So like in the Fusaka meta EIP, you would link to the 4337 validation rules for Fusaka. That might work. You'd have to talk to Tim about that, but that's probably what I'd recommend.
But ERC 4367 is an ERC.
Yes.
The EIP, there is no hard fork that depends on 4367. It's the other way around.
It would just be like it would just be like this is the ERC for 4337 that goes with Fusaka. It wouldn't be like a dependency. It'd just be like an informative link.
I doubt that is possible because in MetaEIP we only mentioned core EIPs, and I think this time we have also mentioned networking EIP, but just to say that it can be going in.
Yeah, I don't.
That who is looking at the meta EIP? These are the core devs, but the validation rules are checked by the bundlers. They are not looking at core EIPs because they don't care about them. So
What
it's
are
a
the
problem.
thoughts?
This is the way to.
What are the thoughts on having meta ERCs, like, do you think that could be a solution in which we can start adding these things?
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely look into that. I don't know of any other ERCs that need to be released every hard fork, though. I'm sure there are. I just can't think of any right now.
What you're saying, basically, we need to, in 437, say that search for the latest meta ERC
Yeah.
for 437, and then you will find the validation rules that apply, because we are not allowed to reference them from 437 itself.
Right, exactly. Like 4337 needs to end at some point. It can't just keep getting updated over and over again.
Yeah, 437 ends, but
Yes.
7562 isn't ended yet. So instead of referencing it, we'll say, okay, go find yourself and find the latest validation rules. Search for an ERC with the title.
Yeah, I know.
And use the latest one.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm saying it'd be nice to index these all in one place as opposed to having to search. But this is kind of a discussion that we can hopefully do offline. I'll add it to my long list of discussions.
One other note here, Sam. I'm noticing that all the file links are going at 404. Are we missing something there?
All the which links, like inside this file?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just how our rendering system works for now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fixed in the new one that I'm working on.
Perfect.
Okay. 64. Okay. To prevent replay attacks, signature must depend on chain ID and entry point address. Note that one sensitive to your authorization tuple value can be provided alongside the user operation struct, but authorization tuples are not. Okay. One passed on chain to the endpoint contract, the account, and the paymaster. A packed version of the above shortcut, the packed operation is used. Okay. Beneficiary see address that will be paid with all the gas fees. Okay. Smart contract. Okay. Smart contract. Sequential transaction nonce value is used as a replay protection method as in the valid order transaction packet also contributes to the transaction hash uniqueness as a transaction by the same sender with the same nonce may not be included in the chain twice. However, regarding using a user operation between two values, key and sequence. Okay. Okay. Entry point method is handle loss ahead for future operations. The entry point must perform the following steps. Must make two loops: verification loop, the execution loop, and the verification loop. The handle ops code must perform the following steps for each user operation. Create the sender smart contract that exists using a new code provided in the factory addresses. Okay. sender does not exist and the unit code is empty, does not deploy a contract with the sender, the call must fail. The maximum possible fee the sender needs to pay based on validation and gas call limits. Current gas fees calculate the fee the sender must to its deposit the entry point validate user up in the sender session. Should be for the user operation signature and pay the fee as sender. Okay. Line 237. Now they're all just the same line. You've only changed one line. Okay, 237. If the account is supposed to the entry point is high enough to cover the max possible cost. The execution of the handle of the user operation call the amount. Okay, it's up to the account to choose how to parse the call data and express it for the account to have an execute function that parses from the call data. Okay, the call data starts with the method sig. The entry point must build the call data by call the account using the call data to the call through. Which pre-charge penalty of 10% is applied on the amounts called. Okay, guess from its use penalty is only applied. The amount of remaining is equal to okay. This penalty is necessary to prevent the user operations from reserving large parts of the gas space in the bundle, but leaving it unused to preventing the bundler from including other user operations after the execution of outcomes. Okay. Before accepting insured, use an RPC method to locally call handle ops function on the entry point. KJ, I'll just put that full definition. Okay, support for EIP. And okay, it's fine. About the extra parameter. Okay, wait. 7769.
Yeah, it also draft.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that this section existed, and it does. So that's good.
No, the point is that we splitted 4367 into 3 separate ERCs so that we can ossify 4367, but we can't.
Right. Yeah. You have to link them in the other direction from the more draft proposal to the final proposal.
Yes, but the logical link is from the main one to the partial to the less important one. This is the main ERC. What you're saying that the main ERC can't reference those great extension of it.
I mean, I guess another option would be to make 4337 just the contract interfaces, and then have like the RPC, the rules, all those things, and then have either a meta or an informational EIP that like links everything together at the end. Yeah, the one like you can't finalize a proposal until all of the like components of that proposal are also finalized.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Payments from deposit. Okay. Namely that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. $583. 3. Okay. Digital contract.
Yeah, so what we could do? Copy the GitHub repo.
Basically, yeah. If you can just cut it down to like, kind of like imagine if you were reading a textbook and you had like an example implementation in the textbook. That's what you want to include in the repository. So you want to avoid like build system files, lock files. You just want like the minimum amount of stuff to give the reader an understanding of how to implement the standard. Yeah, that's an important one. Yeah. Cool. And with that, I have to go. I have another call. So thank you everybody for coming out. Sorry I couldn't get through more proposals. We'll see you all either next week or in 2 weeks. Take care.
Thank you, Sam.